Harbor Freight and I came across this headlight lens restore kit. It's $14. The very first hit with 500 grit. So the instructions say to use 500 grit, then step to 800. And then once you've reduced those scratches, step up to a 3000. Then they have a polishing compound with a polishing pad that came with the kit. So we'll just spray this off here and see what we're left with on the first pass. And so you guys can kind of see it now. And it's just getting a nice fog to it. So I'll probably go over one more step with 500 and then we may step up to the 8 once we see what it looks like. All right, let me get the bottle. Thank you, big helper. What it should start to do is look a little more even with the haze. How this works here, this foam pad is just hook and loop sandpaper. And it's better to change more frequently than not. That's the 500, and you saw it labeled there on the back. We're gonna switch to the 800 here, and you just wanna do your best to center it up on the pad, leave enough Velcro exposed, and that's how you apply the 800 pad. Our next step will be the 3000 grit, and it also has a little extra foam backer. And the final step will be this orange foam polishing pad, where we'll actually apply a little dime-sized polish right here, and we'll get going on the final step. So right now we're on the second step, the 800 grit. Again, I like to wet it. Just a little bit of soap in my mixture. We're going to step up to the next grit here, and what we're trying to do is work the 500 scratches out with the 800. So we're going to finish up. I think this will be our last coat with the 800. It's already starting to clear up quite a bit. You can see whenever I get it wet, it'll be closer to what it'll be like once we get it all polished and sealed again. But I can feel the scratches are out, so we're going to switch from 800. I did make 6 passes with the 800. I used 2 sanding pads with the 800 and 3 with the 500 so far. We're going to switch over to this 3000 grit sponge, and we're going to do the same thing. This is the one where they talk about wet sanding it, so we're going to continue to do the wet sanding that we've been doing. And we'll start our second to final pass. Our objective is to sand out the scratches from the previous sanding step. That's on headlights, woodworking, metalwork. The whole purpose of having different sanding grits is to get the most efficient sanding done first, and then you use the subsequent next step up in the sanding grit to clean up the scratches from the previous sanding. Depending on what your application is, will depend on what you have to use as far as grit, how fine, how coarse. Okay, we got that off. Again, about a dime size, right there in the middle. That's all you need. Put the lid back on so we don't make a mess. anytime you have a dry polishing wheel before and a surface hadn't been polished on, you want to kind of dab it around and just kind of smear it all over the surface. That's going to be the same thing. We're going to spin it up, light pressure at first so we can get some cutting compound on there. Then I'm going to work the edges heavy. This is the only step that I'm going vertical in. I'm going to do a crosshatch pattern on this. So I'm going to go up and then I'm going to go across. It'll take a couple steps of this, a couple times of trying. Again, I'm going to reapply another, probably about the same, another dime sized. And I'm going to, again, dab it all over. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick the speed up just a little more than last time. Quickly hit the whole thing and then I'll work the edges like I have been. And by working the edges first, it just allows me to cover the larger surface area. You can see already after just 2 passes how much clearer this was than we originally started. I don't know that it's quite as good as that one there, but it's pretty close. That one was a brand new lens. I'll probably hit this one a couple more times and try to get it a little better, but I think that's acceptable compared to what we started with. This is a big improvement for the $15 or $20 that the kit cost from Harbor Freight. Again, I'll show you the kit that I picked up. It's their deluxe lens renewal system. It was over with the polishers and the random orbital sanders that they have there. It's a little cheaper than the other kits that I've seen, and it did include the tool that ran off the drill. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It feels very smooth now.